Bonjour. So, Greg, what did you love about the French immersion trip?
I loved being part of a small group of people who became friends. We were staying at a small converted farmhouse in rural France, which was terrific. And we went to lots of different places, met lots of different people, lots of different experiences, particularly around the small parts of France, going to a bakery, going to a restaurant, going to a cafe, and with Alex making it possible for us to meet locals, to talk with some French and to understand a lot more about the country.
I think staying in the farmhouse was great because you only had to unpack once. We went out each day. There was always the safety and security of knowing you were coming back to one spot. And we developed such a friendship and camaraderie of dealing with each other every day and sharing what we'd done. And the activities that Alexandra organised with the help of Ben and Arno as chauffeurs, it allowed us, the small villages are what make France. I mean, you can go to Paris and all that sort of thing and you can appreciate that as a city, but the small villages and all those little places that we experienced were great. Going to La Rochelle and having lunch on the foreshore, and then segwaying. I'd never done segway and I was so scared and I didn't want to do it, but I did it and it was absolutely exhilarating and loved it. Was there one particular experience you really liked?
I liked the picnic by the river, just being with a whole lot of French people, just having a quiet drink on a Sunday afternoon near a river. I liked the barbecue night. We had everybody playing pétanque into the sort of the gloaming of the French countryside. I liked the fact that it was, each day we went to something different.
So it was great variety, wasn't it?
It was great variety, and I liked when we interacted with the people. The people were so friendly and so helpful.
Absolutely.
So it was.
And what made this trip unique and different to other trips that you've done before?
I think for me it was the small group aspect, the small group of people with similar interests. Everyone was there to learn, and we all had a shared background, through the French classes. So, and the flexibility. So it wasn't driven by a schedule. We could decide, if something was going well, we stay there a bit longer, or we could come back to the farm a little bit later. So it was that plus the work that Alex did to make it all happen.
I think that's a really good point. The fact that we didn't know each other before we went, or knew each other briefly, but that we all had the same shared interest. So we were all interested in French. We were all interested in speaking better French and in enjoying those experiences. And as you say, being able to change, that's what's different. If you're on a tour and it's a set thing, there's really no negotiation of what you can do, whereas we shared the decisions together. Oh, we'll eat here, or we might do this morning instead of that. And that's what makes it a different trip.
Yeah, it was a wonderful trip. It really was.
And how did you feel speaking French with the locals?
Well, I was really, I have to be honest, nervous about the whole of that, because I don't consider myself a really confident French person, but Alex instills that in you. And I think it was good because I actually got better there because you were in it all the time. It was the fact that you were always surrounded by it. But I never felt that I couldn't respond or that I couldn't communicate. People didn't look down at you. The French certainly didn't say, well, I'm not speaking to you because you're not speaking French. I mean, it was all very relaxed. And I remember going with the cognac gentleman. He spoke a bit in English and a bit in French. And I was learning things along the way. So I think that was really good.
Yeah, the local people were really helpful when they realised you were learning, and it was great to be put into the position where you had to speak French, if you like. So you also had to be more assertive or more confident because you couldn't waste people's time. So I thought it was much better than I thought. It really was good to hear a lot of the phrases that we'd used in class being used in real life and in the context. So I felt that I'd learnt a lot of French, but I also felt there's a lot more to learn. So and that was a highlight for me.
You never felt, I never felt uncomfortable. Yeah. I felt that I could look to others for support, and even our group we all helped each other if we got lost for words. And I think you have to also remember Alex's philosophy is it's not just about the French language, it's about the French culture and the French food and the French wine and the markets. It's the whole package that makes you appreciate the trip that you're on.
And what made you book another trip for next year to the French Alps?
I think it was the sense of camaraderie and the sense of group, and that there's so much there to do. It was just really good. It was a really wonderful trip, and I just wanted to do more, and more of the variety, from the high-end restaurant we went to through to the different villages, different towns. It was one of the best trips that I've done in my life, really.
And I think the friendships we made, it made you want to experience the same sort of feelings again with those people. And even though I've been to the new trip that we got, like the area where the new trip is, I know that Alex will show us completely different things, other things that I wouldn't normally access or have access to.
It was an extension of the time we have in class to like a 10-day period in one of the most wonderful countries in the world.
That's
so
true.
Why wouldn't you go again? It was great.
If only we could hop over that quickly.
Oh, merci beaucoup.